Hey guys, today we're going to cover a topic that I haven't seen a lot of people discuss on several of the gun channels, and that's AK stocks. Not what the best kind is, but the differences here. As you can see in front of me, I've got the Fantastic 4 here, my 4 AK variant rifles. The first one here is my Sega 308. Next one above that is my Romanian Wasser 1063 underfolder. Above that is my Wasser 1063 with collapsible stock, and above that is my GoVeraWorks AK-74 with side folder. So I want to discuss, at least in my opinion, the pros and cons of each of these stock designs. And you'll have to excuse me, I can't really use the tripod for a lot of these shots because it's a lot to cover. But anyway, I'm going to try and cover the differences and give you my personal opinion on these stocks as I've used them. And maybe this will help you guys make a decision. Two of these stock options, at least one of them majorly, will have an effect on the receiver and type of gun you can buy. So I'm going to do my best to cover the pros and cons, and I hope this will help you guys make a decision as to what you might want to look at when you're looking for an AK. Okay, the first one we're going to cover here is the standard fixed stock on the AK. This is my Sega 308. As you can see, it has a standard, as I said, fixed stock. Has the lightning cut out of it, not lightning like thunderbolts, but lightning as in making it lighter. This is a fixed polymer stock, and they come in two lengths. This is the NATO length. There is a shorter version that's about maybe an inch shorter. That's the Warsaw Pact length. That is really the major difference between the two. The Warsaw Pact length is a bit shorter because in general Russians are usually a bit shorter, a bit smaller than the average Westerner, and they also usually wear thicker uniforms and outfits from the cold, so the shorter stock actually is more beneficial to them. Now, Western shooters, we usually don't deal with all that and are generally bigger, like the longer stock. It's really more of a comfort issue than anything else. Western shooters really don't like having their face mashed against the receiver, which these shorter stocks can sometimes do. It doesn't affect the gun, and I haven't noticed it affect accuracy. It's purely a comfort thing. And almost any stock that is designed for the fixed stock will come in both lengths. Except for most of the wooden ones, they're going to come in just Warsaw length unless you order something from Ironwood Designs. I think they do both. Really has nothing to it. It attaches with two screws. Let's see if I can angle the camera down where you can see it. One there and one inside the receiver. And then it just slides in to about that far into the stock. Now these are the stamped receivers. The milled AK receivers actually have like a little tongue that comes here, or a tang, I'm sorry, not a tongue. Tang comes here, and the ones I've seen also come out here and it screws in there. It's just the way the stock attaches. They work the same way. This is the basic stock. Lots of options for it. You shouldn't have any problem finding anything comfortable to shoot with. For you guys out there, and I'm one of them who wanted to put AR stocks on your AK, which I have done, we'll get to that. If you want to use a fixed length stock like the big 20-inch AR stock, they do sell an adapter that fits in here and puts the standard AR gas tube in here, and then you can scroll it on. For most people it looks kind of goofy looking and most people don't like it, but on this rifle I had considered using that real high-end Magpul marksmanship stock with the adjustable comb and all that kind of stuff. So later on I may try that. I may just put a adjustable cheek riser here. The problem is getting a good cheek weld is pretty much impossible with the scope setup I've got. You can get an okay chin weld, but cheek welds are always better. So that may be an option for you if you're looking like that. But that's really an option for scoped rifles. For red dots, really, if you mount them properly, it probably won't be a hazard. It won't depreciate. It won't affect your shooting. But that's, like I said, that's the fixed stock, and it comes with the standard AK receiver, and they won't have to make any modifications for it because that's how they come from the factory. Alright, your next one is the underfolder stock. Now this one has a giant hole back here for the underfolder stock, so it requires a specialized receiver to do it. The pros to this stock are that it folds up nice and neat underneath of the gun, makes it much smaller to carry. Downside is, of all the people who shot this gun, there's very few people who find it comfortable to shoot. It's not really that much fun to lean your face in against too, even with some padding put on it. A lot of people, even experienced shooters, can kind of bruise themselves on the hard stock. So, and over time, it can start to get loose. You can go in there and tighten it, but I've seen lots of these that are just got a little bit of wiggle in them. So, it's not really the best stock setup. That design is really based on a lot of German guns, especially from World War II, like the MP44, MP39s. I think that's got it on floating stuff. You know what I'm talking about. The German Underfolder stocks. Really, the Russians just copied that design. And it works okay, but like I said, this is also going to be the Warsaw pack length, too. It folds up, comes underneath the handguards. You guys have seen Underfolders, and it's kind of buried in here. I don't want to fold it. You'll get the idea. But, yeah, take that into consideration. I've seen some people ask, can you convert this to a fixed stock? And the short answer to that is, yeah, you can, but why would you want to? You're really better off just buying one with the fixed stock. And if you've got one like this, by the time you take this out, this hole back here, this area, it needs the reinforcement from this stock design. If you put a standard stock on, you have to change out the retrunning. It's a pain in the butt. You're better off just selling the rifle and buying a fixed stock one. I wouldn't want it. Underfolder is really designed for people like paratroopers and guys in armored personnel carriers, stuff like that, for the space savings, not your average Russian grunt. So take that into consideration. I shoot with it, and it is just fine, but some people find it uncomfortable. That pretty much wraps that one up. We'll go to the next one. Okay, now this is Romanian, started off life with a fixed stock. However, this is a Voltor AK to AR stock adapter. Basically, it's a tube that fits in the standard AK rear trunnion and converts it to a standard or a commercial buffer tube for AR-15 stock. This one here is a Magpul CTR with cheek riser on it, which lines up really well with the red dot. I'm not going to get into AK-AR debate, but not a lot of people are going to state that the AK is more ergonomic than the AR. So the nice adjustableness, the length of pull on this, you can pull it out, you can shrink it up closer to the gun, you can lengthen it, you can change the height with different cheek risers. It's the superior AR ergonomics on the AK, so lots of people like it. Definitely an option. It does add a bit of weight. There are lighter ones. This is an aluminum tube. I have seen some ones made out of polymer. Maybe not the best idea if you plan on butt stroking something, but why would you do that when bullets come out of the other end is beyond me. But, you know, or you could put a bayonet on it. I mean, it's an AK. Why would you butt stroke something? And the odds of you needing to butt stroke something are pretty low. So, I don't know. That's one thing I hear all the time, but that's kind of asinine. Most people aren't going to do that. So, anyway, there you go. Collapsible stock. Has all the pros of a fixed stock, and not really any downside I can think of. It's a good option. Alright, the last one here is my AK-74 with side folder. Basically, the Russians had the underfolder and had the complaints I was saying. It's uncomfortable, it could become loose, and they changed the design to one of these spiffy, neato side folders. It does require a specialized trunnion. There's a notch here, and there's a special trunnion back here for the stock to fold, and there's a latch on the other side where the stock folds into and collapses and makes it just as small as the underfolder. It's very light, very strong. It's got some nice beefy weld marks on it. Downside is it is still short, Warsaw length. Can be a problem for some people. And like the underfolder, the steel is not comfortable to put your face on. As you can see, I wrap mine in paracord. It's more comfortable than the underfolder, but it's still not nearly as comfortable as the collapsible or the fixed stock. So you want to take that into consideration. But man, it does look cool. All the Krinkhoffs have it. It doesn't seem to suffer the wobble problems. In fact, it's super stable here. If you're going to get a side folder, get this kind or get the Galil side folder or even the Polish Tontal in East German style. Of all the ones I've seen and used, those work best. I've used the Tapco polymer ones, and those things are garbage. They bend, they don't collapse properly, they don't work, they just suck, so stay away from those. Can't think of anything else about it. Like I said, it requires a specialized receiver. It is kind of pricey though. If you order these from KTAR, sometimes it can be up to $300, so take that into consideration if you're building your own AK from scratch. But they do work for any end. You can put a side folding AK-74 stock on an AK-47. Some of the purists will cry, but screw them, it's your rifle, so you do what you want. Well, I think that covers everything. I try to keep these videos short, sweet, and to the point. I don't want to be like on some other gun channels and really ramble. I think I've discovered most of the, or stated most of the pros and the cons. I'll tell you some things that I have noticed people say that aren't true. I heard a couple guys say that there is a receiver, a strengthening plate that fits underneath of the pistol grip on the side folders. And that's true. There is. A lot of military guns have that. And I've had some people say, oh, well, don't buy one without that because that's crap. It's not real military and it's not going to last, and blah, blah, blah. That's not true. It does strengthen this, and if you drop this rifle on the pistol grip, there is a chance you might bend the receiver. I guess you drop it from really high up. So if you're climbing around the mountains in Afghanistan, might want to get that receiver plate for just the off chance. However, for the everyday user, that's not going to be a problem, and it can be added. Okay, you don't have to buy a rifle specifically because you saw that it needs that part and you're not going to buy anything else. You can buy any of these and put that receiver strengthening plate on it. They'll all fit. So if somebody tells you that's the one reason to buy a rifle, they're an idiot. Don't listen to them. That doesn't make any sense at all. Any part like that can be added. Well, guys, I think that's all I can think of to talk to you guys about this. Like I said, the cost is, of all of them that are expensive, the side folder up there is going to be the most expensive if your gun doesn't come with it to add it. I believe you can modify an existing receiver to take that. You'd have to buy the rear trunnion and take a notch out, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. I would say if you want to do that, just buy that like a Nodak Spud receiver and have a gunsmith put that on. And I don't think it's really worth it for that. If you're going to want a folding stock, look at like the Ace folding stock is real nice and stuff like that. I wouldn't try and mod an already existing gun. If you're building it, that's one thing. But I wouldn't try and change off a stock like that, fixed stock, for that kind of style Russian stock, unless you just love the gun and money's no object. It just seems like a lot of waste of money to me. Easiest one to do to modify would be that collapsing stock. Just buy the adapter tube, and then you have the plethora of AR stocks to choose from. Get yourself a nice cheek riser. This is the 1/2 inch. You don't need it, but it helps. And like I said, you can boost it higher up for your whatever optics you want. I really like that collapsible one. Everybody seems to like it. So the one I'm kind of leery about for most people is the Underfolder stock. If you are a small person or you are a very thin person, it can be uncomfortable. If you are a chunky person, you probably won't notice the recoil, but some people still do. So take into consideration, that's the least comfortable, but man, it sure does look cool, and that's why everybody wants one. As soon as the stock's fixed on there, it won't affect your accuracy. Just make sure you don't have any slop in the stock. And even this cheapy Romanian one doesn't have any. Alright guys, I think that's about it. I'll answer any questions you guys have. If you got a comment, what's your favorite one and why, go ahead and list it down there, of course, the video, or do a video response. I can't think of any other AK style stocks out there, so I think this covers the gamut. I hope this was helpful to some of you guys. Got more videos coming up soon. And, I'll show you an update on that other little project I'm working on. Okay, I thought I'd have one or two more things before I turn the video off. Bonus features. Here is the folding stocks folded. There below is the Underfolder, and above is the AK-74. Is lined up about as best as I can get them. A couple of things you can compare here. One, this is the East German Bakelite. This is the Russian Bakelite. Very similar. The Russian is just a slight hair darker, but pretty close. You can only tell under really good light, which I don't have. And then, as far as length goes, they're pretty close. The 74, let me make sure it's about as lined up as I can get it, yeah, is of course a hair longer because of the compensator, but they're both about the same length. So take that into consideration if your space is at a premium. Anyway, some of you guys have been asking how my other build is going. There's what I got so far. Of course, that is the original upper. You guys can see I took a little bit of the finish off because it had a lot of pitting on it, especially on the back. So I had to sand some of it down to get it ready for refinishing. And this is an AIM Surplus lower I got really inexpensively. So to me, a lower is a lower is a lower. I've yet to find any major difference between them without extra features like the POF ordnance and stuff. And since it's just really I got it apart and I have to build an AR, I don't see any point in spending retarded amounts of money on a super secret lower. I could have got a Noveski for 170, but I was like, yeah, it's just you're paying for the symbol, forget it. Especially since it's going to be refinished. And actually, this one had a nicer finish than a Noveski one did. I got a standard buffer tube in it. That's just screwed in there for a minute just so I have less stuff rolling around. Got a Accu wedge. Most of these guns don't need it. I'm not sure if this one does. But that's a USGI M16 upper, and they make those kind of sloppy on purpose. The little looser tolerances in the military spec guns. So it's great for something that fires full auto and you might want the extra wiggle room in it, but this isn't full auto, so I'm gonna, if I need it, I got it there to tighten up the receiver, castle nut, retainer plate, and I got a Spikes Tactical parts kit. We'll probably use everything in there except the pistol grip and the trigger. I'm still not sure about. I might do my own trigger job on it, or I might buy not a match trigger, but one of those upgraded USGI triggers if I can't modify it myself and smooth out some of the grittiness. So anyway, project's going. Should have the barrel by the end of the month. If you guys can find one for me, I'm looking for a 14.5 mid-length barrel. I'm going to go with the mid-length on this gun. 16 I can find all day long. I'm having problems finding a 14.5 in stock. I really want one with the front sight base put in it, standard front sight base, because this is an A2 and it look kind of goofy with a full collapsible front sight base. Just personal opinion, I get it to work. But I really want one that I can put the front sight base on, but that's just more work for me. So if I can have it already installed, I've seen Daniel Defense be the only person who have it in stock, and $300 isn't too bad to spend on it. I looked at Noveski, and I'm not paying $500 for a barrel. That's for match guns, and I don't have match gun money. And they have their own gas block, which I don't like. LMT, I don't think they have any 14.5s in stock. So Bravo Company is out, who was my first choice. Delton doesn't make a 14.5, so if you guys can see one from a reputable dealer, please send me a PM. Comments would be okay too. PMs would help a lot. If all else fails, I'll put a 16, and I just really want to try a 14. I've got a good flash hider I want to put on there. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Hope that's it. Like I said, post in the comments if you guys have any questions, comments, so if you want to see something special on any video really, but specifically with these, and if you got any reasons to why you like them, post up or send me a video. Happy to have a discussion with you, and we can discuss what you like and what you don't like. I guess that's it, guys. I will see you later.